Yes, yes, yes. Um, Welcome, come well to another episode entitled "Am I as I am as you are?" Today's episode, we're going to touch upon what is imagination and visualization. Um, I felt this was another thing to touch upon, one of the topics to touch upon. Um, just being able and knowing to utilize different devices and different functions of your mind when you want to create a reality, not just a reality that you're physically in, will also make that mental function a physical thing which you find yourself existing within as well. Knowing how to make the crossover from one reality into the next so that they tie and mesh in a into a present reality which you will find yourself within. Okay? Um and just knowing what the imagination is and what is this imagination? Uh why is it? What are the functions of it? What are the results and the outcomes of using it? Things of that nature. And I guess we'll go right into it. You know how the normal format of things are, how we do things here, line for line, or a doorway for doorway, or doorway after doorway, and we'll take it from this point forward. Okay? So, the first line, the first doorway is imagination is being able to transform and convert your virtual reality and atmosphere. Being able to transform and convert your virtual reality and your atmosphere. You have to do it within the dark of your mind, behind closed eyelids, behind the black curtains that exist right in the middle of the light experience, right here, and the dark experience, or in the middle of the seen reality and the unseen reality. And once the transforming is validated in the dark with a strong need, want, and desire, it automatically finds its way to the light, just as you did from inside the womb to outside the womb. You was in darkness and you found your way to the light. This is a process that you can do with your mind as well. You know, um, yeah, from inside the womb and outside the womb, and here you are. Like the word conception or to conceive, what we may know as intimacy or intercourse or sex. Um, but the actual word conception or conceive, I think conception or conceive is actually means something mental. Look up the word conceive or conception. It means mental, an idea or a plan. It doesn't mean sex or penis and a vagina. It means mental, dealing with the psyche, psychology, the mind, a plan or idea. This is the definition of conception or to conceive. So it's not physical dealing with conception. You have to know or learn how to make love to your mind. Learn how to make love to your mind. How to ejaculate into your mind, mental ejaculation, to bring about the offspring of your new reality. See, so conceive is mental, not physical. You were first an idea or plan before appearance and incubation that sooner or later became a living thing. So it was a plan or idea from your mother or a plan or idea from your father before they actually became intimate with each other. And then had you. Because even for them to even come together, they had to have a plan or come together. Like, I'm gonna meet you here, meet me here. Let's have dinner here. Come to my house. Or I'll call your house. Let's do this. Let's do that. So it was a plan or idea that brought you about. At its most primary point, at its most least common denomination of where you came from a plan or idea. Why do you think you have plans and ideas? Why do you think this is called a planet? What they call planets. What you know as a planet. You were a plan that got caught in the net of a reality. Okay? So learn how to do that. Understand that before appearance and incubation, you were just mental. And that mental thing became the living idea, which is you in the present moment. Okay? Opens up a little bit more as we go along. Open up doorways down the long hallways of the mind. Next line, next doorway is being able to escape and eject from a current ongoing moment by using the device of moment. Leaving or suspending from a current live situation in that moment by using your imagination within that same moment. Like when you're having an argument or a confrontation or friction with you and your mate, you know how to leave it for a moment and eject and suspend from that moment, in the midst of that moment, and then return right back to it with a different perspective of it. And you can do this. So you can leave a moment by utilizing the device of moment, or one of the functions of moment, which is your imagination. She can be looking real mean and ugly to you at that moment. He could be looking real mean and ugly to you at that moment. But at the time they're talking and animating themselves towards you, you can leave there for a minute and think back or create your own reality and see them as a loving person in the midst of their ugly moment by using your imagination. Or think back to when they were nice and you never had an argument, never had a confrontation. There was never no friction between you and him or you and her until that happened. Go back to that moment. In that moment of the chaos or the friction, and then return back to it with a new, fresh outlook. And don't be surprised if the whole situation alters right before your eyes in that moment. I don't know if you ever heard that saying, when your energy is high, people, places, and things, or when your energy is high, you control people, places, and things. When your energy is low, people, places, and things control you. So yes, you can manipulate and orchestrate energies and forces right in front of you, right around you. But you have to have a close relationship with them. You got to know how to work with them. And using your imagination is one of those devices of how to work with them, how to be in union with them, to make them move and dance how you want them to move and dance, to create what you want to create around yourself and for your reality. You can shift realities if you want to, in the moment. Yes, that's possible. This is not Hollywood. This is not magic. This is actually very normal. But it's been known to look like it's magical or it's magic because we're so far from our true nature that anything we do outside of this physical reality looks like it's supernatural. But it's not. It's actually very regular. But let's go on to the next line, next doorway. Next line, next doorway is visualize is image or stillness You can also recall a whole situation as it played out to be in visualizing it. So you can have a you can visualize something, and it's going to be a still picture or still image or still person or still view. But if you were in that moment of that view of that person, they were moving or things were happening around the atmosphere, you can visualize this. So it can be, you can visualize movement just by using the device of visualization. But it's mostly an image, and it's mostly based upon stillness. A still kind of look at something. It's a still look. Imagine is image and animation. So visualize is image in mostly stillness. To imagine is image and animation. So basically movement. To visualize is a still image. Imagine is an image moving or an animation. And animating to whatever how you want it to animate and move. Not according to how it was moving or animating, but according to how you want it to animate and move. And this is how you utilize your device of imagination. So it's basically when you use your imagination with proper need, want, desire, and correct intent. You're being able to create different circumstances and outcomes from a previous playout and make that newly imagined playout unravel differently in your favor. So it's being able to create different circumstances and outcomes. This is another great device of your imagination. Okay, as we go along. The next line in Doorway is, imagination and visualization still require action for transformation of situation and or circumstance to occur. So basically, it still needs you to do something. It still needs you to do something in a physical action in order for it to happen or appear. Every idea seeks to be invented. At some point, thought becomes action. You understand? Everything is trying to cross over into your third dimensional experience by utilizing the tool within that experience called physical action in order for it to be. It has to play in the laws that govern that specific reality in order to appear in that specific reality. And if something that isn't action, physical action, can only appear in a reality where physical action is, then it has to turn from that which is not physical into a physical thing in order to appear in that physical realm. Because here is where the laws of action, where action takes place in order for things to sculpt, build, mold, create, etc. So it has to make that crossover. That's why I said every idea seeks to be an invention. Every thought seeks to become an action. So this is how your imagination is seeking to become a full third dimensional, third density reality. You just got to know how to understand how to make that crossover from one into the other. How do I cross that over from here into here? That's the whole key. Learn where it connects at. Learn where the physical reality connects to the unphysical reality. And the unphysical reality connects to the physical reality. What does it connect at? Find the connection. Find that Lego piece, that Lego connection, and make that connection and make it appear. But that glue or that connection that makes it appear is the principles of need, want, desire, and intent. And also extreme detail. So you have to know how to utilize these devices But you don't have to learn how to need and want and desire. You do that naturally. But make sure that what you want to happen is within extreme detail. It makes the reality more easier for it to paint it out and draw it out for you and to make it a possibility, to turn that potential into the possibility which you desire. Okay? Next line of doorway is imagination, a place and space which exists only within a dark space. The hidden aspect of magic or enchantment. Anything that exists in darkness holds nothing but pure potential to be and to become. Darkness is constant energy transference. Just like the darkness of the inside of your body or the darkness of the skull. The brain is in darkness. Your organs and everything are in darkness. Why is it within darkness? Because darkness is where energy transfers and converts at and within. That's why most expensive things at the grocery store, the market, and everything like that is a lot of those bottles are thick and they're black and they're dark green or dark blue or dark black, a dark color, and which why the oil or the foods taste much more rich in these bottles or these dark glass bottles because there's energy being transferred in between these bottles constantly. There's a certain kind of richness or ripeness that's keeping it in full motion. It's keeping that concoction, that formula in perfected motion in the contents of that substance in that bottle. It's keeping it going along. Like a banana, if you have a banana for too long, or an apple for too long, or fruit or vegetable for too long, it starts to have dark spots on it. If a banana starts to have dark brown spots or dark black spots on it, why do you think when you peel it and you eat it, it tastes sweet? Because it's going to its most ripe stage, to its most richest stage. It's supposed to be sweet. So it gets down to business. It gets to that, where it's supposed to be at. When energy transference occurs, or that light external shell of it becomes darker and darker and darker. That means more energy, more magic is happening on the inside of it. It's coming to its right stage, to its ripe stage, to its rich stage, and ready to be consumed and digested. Okay? Which makes it more easier for the body to recognize. Because true health is recognition. The more your organs in your body recognize what's being consumed and digested, the quicker it gets rid of it and keeps whatever it needs from it. So it extracts what it needs from it, and keeps it in places in the body where it's needed. Okay? So, once again, imagination is a place and space which exists only within a dark space. The darkness of your mind. That's where imagination exists at, in the darkness of your mind. The hidden aspect of magic or enchantment. Anything that exists in darkness holds nothing but pure potential to be and to become. Keep that in mind. As you're using your imagination, that is a dark space where things are seeking to be and become. To come here. It's seeking to become here. Get it? Just find the connection and find that doorway and make that crossover. Okay, because it's pure potential seeking to become the possibility that you desire. Make it happen. Okay. Next line in doorway is imagination. The section of mind which highly influences the subconscious mind. It commands and demands the subconscious reality to do and to be. It's the command center for the subconscious mind. The function of the mind which the subconscious mind thinks is real. This is why you should create within the perimeters of your imagination. Your subconscious mind cannot tell what's real and what's not real. It can't tell what's actually happening and what's not actually happening in that moment. This is why you want to create a certain reality for yourself. Use your imagination, bring things to you. Using your imagination, need, want, and desire are magnetic qualities that you're pulling to you. You're pulling in, 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 you're pulling it to you. Your need, want, and desire. Make sure in between every need, want, and desire, you're filling it up with extreme detail, extreme detail, extreme detail to give the subconscious mind that perfect blueprint to create that perfect architecture for you to set up the foundation for the structure of your desire. Learn how to utilize your imagination. You have a mind for a reason. What the fuck is this thing called mind? Why do we even have this thing called mind? Where is it? And the imagination resides in that shit? Yeah. So, I mean, isn't it interesting alone that the mind, that we have something called the mind, and we can't even touch it, taste it, and feel it? It's just here. That's not interesting enough to you? Doesn't catch your attention? Or it's just normal? Because, I think things and I think that I'm using my thoughts and thinking process. And, it's like an everyday thing. It ain't nothing extravagant. It ain't nothing spectacular. It ain't nothing special. It ain't nothing magical. Oh, really? Hmm. Because it's normal. When we normalize something, you can also lose focus of its true divine nature. And you don't even explore it or discover it anymore. It's just a thing to you. It doesn't mean nothing to you. You just use it to entrap yourself in thoughts, right? And thinking. But thoughts don't reside in the mind. Like I told you before, thoughts are of the brain. The mind is thinking. The mind is freedom. The brain is entrapment. This is why some people say the mind is here, where the heart is at. The brain is here. Thoughts are up here. Thinking is over here. Thinking is this. Okay? So, once again, imagination influences the subconscious mind. It's directly connected to the subconscious mind. Directly connected to it. And the subconscious mind is what creates the reality for you that you want. So why not paint that perfect picture on that perfect canvas, on that perfect screen called mind, and then flip it the other way around to come back upon the subconscious. So the subconscious looking at it and saying, okay, we're going to make that, we're going to make that, we're going to make that, or we live there, or we do that, or we drive that, or we have this, or we have that already. Okay, I'm going to make that. Yeah, here you go. Oh, you have a house already? Okay, here. Yeah, we have a house. Just because you visualize and imagine the house, subconscious mind says, here. It's your personal genie, or your personal genie, which is your gene, your genealogy. Well, it's because genie is nothing but genetics. It's nothing but genes or gene. Chromosome. Chromosome is from the god Chronos, which is the father of time. Know how to leave. Know how to be in the moment to create a reality in a realm of time, where time exists. But as soon as you imagine it, it's already starting to create it for you. Immediately, automatically, simultaneously, because it doesn't know if it's actually there or not. So you say, yeah, I am there. Subconscious mind says, okay, we are here. Oh, yeah, I do have that. Subconscious mind says, okay, yeah, we do have that here. We have it. Yeah, here we go. Here, take it. Take all of it. Here, we have this. This is ours, right? And you're like, yeah, it's ours. Okay, here. This is how the conscious mind has direct connection to the subconscious mind through the medium of imagination. Okay? So learn how to create within the perimeters of your imagination. Next line of doorway is what's happening when using the imagination. It's the conscious mechanism with unlimited access to the subconscious workings, with one of the workings being able to convince, psych, or trick the subconscious into manifesting the currently desired state of reality that you want. The conscious mind creates a screen of a specific reality it wants and points the screen towards the eye of the subconscious mind. This is what is happening. This is all that's happening. You're just using your imagination to drive you crazy. You're turning your mind into your own personal horror house, creating a beautiful elixir of poison in your system. You're using it to drive yourself mad. Use it to keep yourself centered. It's your own personal genie. It's your own personal genie. You should be granting wishes with it right now. You should be making shit happen. It's saying, what do you want me to do? It's at the command and the demand of you. You command it to be how you want it to be. Until you are touching what you see. All right? Okay. Next line of doorway is it's a place and space where time, distance, and boundary don't exist, where all metamorphosis of all things primarily occur. Meaning you can be here and there at the same time or the same moment. Like right now, I could be right here shooting this video with you, and I'm just sitting down, and I'm here in the house by the fireplace. If I close my eyes, I'm in my car driving. So I can be here and there at the same time in the same moment simultaneously. Why does that function even exist? Why do you even have that? What is that for? Why are you utilizing it? How are you utilizing it? What are you doing with it? Do you know what it's for? Do you know what it can do for you? Learn, understand, remain aware of what you're doing and how you're utilizing what you're utilizing. Is it in your benefit? Is it in your favor? Is it against you? Figure it out. All right? But you can be here and there. So, in other words, the imagination or the realm of imagination, in another way of looking at it, it's like equivalent to being a time machine. It's being in the past, present, and future at the same time. Why do you think you can make shit happen in the present moment? See? Everything that right now, this is a passing thing. I'm in the moment right now, but what I just said, being in the moment right now, became a past thing. So I'm back in the present moment. But if I use my mind or imagination in the future or for the future's purpose, I connect the past, present, and future all together to create my present reality that I will be living live right now. So your mind and your imagination is the time machine. There is no time machine out here. It's not Back to the Future. I'm not McFly. You're not McFly. This is not. That's all Hollywood shit. True time machine is the mind, your imagination. The present moment is the mommy and daddy of past and future. Because in the present moment, right now, if I ask you to think of something in your past that you did yesterday or last night, you can think of it right now. And I say, okay, what are you doing tomorrow morning? You going to work? Okay, well, what does your job look like? You can think of the future right now in the present moment. So the present moment is the coagulation or the cohesion or the connection between past and future. Learn how to use these devices when you want to connect a reality, to create around yourself, to orbit around yourself. You are an atom or an atomic nucleus. You have things circling you and ciphering you. Learn how to make things circle you and cipher you. So you close your eyes, you open them, and you're there. Okay? Next line of the doorway is imagination is unbounded creativity. Unbounded creativity. Human life is bounded creative nature. One creative nature is bound by physical laws, order, structure, and time, which is this third density. And the other is pure chaos and unlawful and unorderly. Understand, chaos leads into order. Chaos creates order, and vice versa as well. But we're talking about right now the imagination. That which is imagined to that which is. Or that which is actual into that which becomes factual. That which is intangible to that which becomes tangible. That which is untouched to that which becomes touched. That which is unphysical to that which becomes physical. This is the formula. This is the whole idea of what I'm talking about. So you have to create a method, a technique, a formula for this to occur whenever you want it to happen. And exactly how you want it to happen for you. Okay, so imagination is unbounded creativity. It has no bounds to it. It's boundless. You can think, you can imagine whatever the hell you want to imagine. Human life is bounded creative nature. We're bound by things. We're bound by skin. We're bound by brick. We're bound by ceilings and floors and walls and things that are physical. See, so, but learn how to use or utilize your pure chaotic nature, the one which is unlawful and unorderly, and turn it into a law and order, or an order and law. Turn it into a physical structure. Make that blueprint into a physical building. Okay, learn how to turn one dimension, because your mind is one dimension, into a third dimensional reality. Okay? Why do you think you can draw a square on a piece of paper? And if we just add a line here, a line here, a line here, and a line here, and you connect these lines on the outside of it, it becomes a cube. So you can even turn something which is one-dimensional on a one-dimensional plain piece of paper into a third-dimensional object. And then you make that third-dimensional object on that piece of paper that you drew into an actual physical cube, a physical thing that you can grab and touch. There's a connection. What's the crossover? Okay? Not too many more. The next line and doorway is imagination is an unphysical place where the physical body can reside in and ultimately turn physical, if desired to do so by pure will, intent, need, and want. An unphysical place where the physical body can reside in and ultimately turn that unphysical place into a physical place, or turn that unphysical space into a physical place. You can do it. You got to think about it. Why am I able to create certain situations and circumstances and atmospheres and sceneries and things of this nature in this place where I call mind or imagination? What am I? Why am I even able to do that? How am I even able to do that? And why am I doing that? For what reason? What's the purpose of me doing this? Does it mean that I can make that which I'm imagining into something that is actually real and right in front of me or around me? Is that what it's actually saying? That's where you draw at. Okay? Okay. Next line and doorway is visualization is still image or still picture, picturing, Imagination is image and animation, a stillness or still thing into movement. We kind of touched upon this before. So that's what that is. And to visualize something, of course, you visualize something, you can visualize anything. It's more of a still thing that you visualize, like pop of a picture, bang. And then imagination goes like this. See? So once again, imagination is why do you have a device that can pop up a picture and then you have another device that can make the picture move? Really think about that for a second. Don't get stuck in thought. Just think about it. Don't have a thought about it. Okay? Okay. Next line in doorway is a place and space of potential possibility and manifestation. A thing which remains in forever stages of transforming transformations. Like the unlimited shapes and swirls smoke makes when you blow it out into the atmosphere. It's a constant swirl of chaos, pure unpredictability. When you blow smoke out of your mouth into the atmosphere, the smoke just turns and twirls and curls and does all this crazy stuff. That is exactly what your imagination is. And when you have a certain kind of intent and it's blowing and it's smoking, and you blow the smoke into the atmosphere and it's going all these spirals and curves and curls and twirls and just spiraling outwards the atmosphere, and that's your imagination. Now you have an intent, need, want, and desire in detail. That smoke now it goes straight into your intent, need, want, and desire. See, so that's the difference of the chaos becoming orderly. But it still remains in the potential realm of chaos because chaos is pure potential. And that potential has to remain potential until it becomes the possibility. Okay? Understand these principles I'm sharing with you. Okay, next line of doorway is it plays an effect on your biological chemistry. Of course, we know, like I said before, people using their mind, their imagination, turn into their own personal horror house, making them mad, pissed off, sad, depressed, anxiety, stressed, all these different things which create a certain kind of chemical formula in your biological field, your biological vehicle. This is why people get all kind of sicknesses and ailments and imbalances in the body and their energy and their mind and their heart and organs and so on and so on and so on and so on, because they turn their mind against them. Like I told you before, an enemy of the state is not a movie. It's not a state, meaning a city, town, landmass. State, enemy of the state is state of mind. You turn your state of mind into your own personal enemy. It should be your ally. It should be your servant. It should be serving you well. You turn into your enemy. So this is why your imagination, your mind plays it has a biological effect on it. It has an effect on your biological chemistry. Mind is body, body is mind. They're connected through the presence and aliveness of you. So find that bridge, like I said before, between unphysical and physical. Where's the bridge at? Don't pay attention to these two realms right now. Just find out where the middle bridge is at. So when you play with this, all you gotta do is walk it across the bridge into this reality. Find out where the bridge is at. Okay? Where's the bridge at? But you are the bridge in between that which is unphysical and which is physical. So if you are the bridge, then you should be able to find the bridge because you are the bridge looking for the bridge. You get it? Okay. Next line in doorway is the imagination is your own personal inherited illusionist and magician that is used and or utilized to convince the subconscious section of the mind that that specific animation which it is witnessing is actually real. So once again, like I said before, it's your own personal genie, your own personal wish master, and magician, an illusionist that is used and or utilized to convince the subconscious section of the mind. And it's convincing it that that specific animation, which it is actually witnessing in that moment, is actually a real thing. The subconscious doesn't know what is real and what is not real. Understand that, utilize that. Very important, very relevant in this path, according to this path. It's very relevant dealing with principle. Okay? Next line, though, is a place and space which automatically manifests what is desired. Only if the illusion of doubt is eliminated out of the equation. Stop doubting yourself. Stop saying, okay, I'm doing this, but is this really happening? Can I really make that happen? Am I really doing this? Am I really doing this? Or is like, I'm just playing my mind, I'm just bugging out. Or, I gotta stop thinking like that, I'm crazy. This ain't really happening. I don't think this is really happening. They say the mind, the magic, and imagination, and all this other stuff, and spirit and soul. But nah, this can't be real. This ain't. I'm just playing with my head. I'm playing with my mind. It's not really happening. It's not really working. And you do that, you're only killing what you create. Why create if you're going to kill it anyway? It's like cleaning a house and dirtying it at the same time. You're killing what you create. Why even create it in the first place? Stop doubting. It doesn't make any sense. If you do it, just create it and let the creation become a creation on its own. Stop halting it. Stop putting a dead end to it. Stop doubting it. Stop doubting yourself. Just do it and then redirect your attention elsewhere and let it come into manifestation. Because as soon as you place the imagine, or as soon as you play with your imagination, you make something, you create something in your mind. At that very moment, it's now working to bring it here, around you. It's working to bring it here. But doing it repetitiously also brings it to you as well, keeping it in mind. And keeping that strong need, want, and desire with it, along with it, to pull it and to pull it and to pull it and to pull it, because it's magnetic. It's a magnetic quality. One of your principles, which has a strong, intense magnetic quality. If you just remain focused on it. No. So, yeah. Next line in doorway is imagination is your own personal genie, which you touched upon before. Your unbound genius at the will of your desire. It's your unbound genius at the will and at the feet of your desire. And the genie that grants 3 wishes, 3 is just known as the first shape in existence, which is a triangle. You can't make a shape with 1 line. You can't make a shape with 2 lines, but you can make a shape with 3 lines, which becomes a triangle. The erect penis, or the triangle, the vagina, intersecting brings about life. So the genie that grants 3 wishes is nothing but saying that it's bringing something which doesn't have a shape into the realm of shape to bring about a shape of that reality so that you may touch it, interact with it, and see that it is real. Your genie is real. But the limit's not 3 wishes. That's just a metaphor. The 3 is symbolic of shape, symbolic of the womb, symbolic of the phallus, or the yoni and the phallus, intersecting triangles. The 3 and the 3 intersecting, creating 6 points. 6 is sex. Learn how to penetrate your mind and your imagination and ejaculate into that womb. The conscious mind is basically the penis, if you want to say it in a certain way, that dives deep into the subconscious mind, into the womb of the subconscious mind, and ejaculates into that subconscious mind. The ejaculation being the need, want, desire, and intent, focus, and detail to bring about the six or the sex, which is the life form or the creativity which you wanted or which you desire. Understand the principles of desire and possession and desire. I want to possess that, or I desire it. I open my eyes and I possess it. Okay. The next line in doorway is mind or imagination, a one-dimensional screen of mind where you create physical, then make physical move. So in other words, it's like making a body, then placing a spirit within the body. So when you imagine things, just imagine the imagination, what you're imagining. You say it's a physical body, right? It's a physical body, and then when you make it move, this physical body move and animate. You put a spirit into it, because spirit is animation. Spirit is what makes the body move. This body is not moving. This body is dead. Your body is dead. Bodies are dead. They're dead vehicles or dead suits. But what is moving this dead suit? That's what you call spirit. See, and the spirit descends from the soul or the solar aspect. Sleeping dragon, sleeping Buddha, what they call it. Okay. So yeah, basically just keep that in mind. The imaginational aspect or the imagination aspect is just a body. And then, or visualization is just a body. And then to imagine, to bring that visualization into the realm of imagining or imagination, now you make that physical body move and you bring about and create and animate whatever you want to. And then bring that reality which you're imagining into this reality to make it a physical thing which you can actually sit in and be around and touch. Okay? Okay. Next line of the doorway is imagine yourself accepting the situation as it is and plays out to be and not being jealous. Imagine yourself remaining humble. And this is once again in relationships. If you're a real jealous person and you deal with jealousy really bad and you don't know how to handle your idiosyncrasies and letting them come out, verbally abusing someone else or physically abusing someone else, at that moment that you're going through it, imagine yourself actually accepting the situation and reality, and what we call life or being live is actually what it plays out to be. And this is just how it goes down here, where she leaves you or he leaves you or things split or whatever may happen. And imagine yourself not being jealous. Imagine yourself actually remaining humble to the situation as it is, as it's supposed to be. So imagine yourself being like this. Imagine yourself just like this. So when you're like this, you got the mad face, you're in such a ball of heated energy. Just imagine yourself calm. Use the device of your imagination. It's there waiting for you. Saying you don't have to be like that. You can be like this. Learn to listen. Listen to learn. Okay. Next line in doorway is once the one who is imagining finds their self within that reality which they are imagining or were imagining, that's equivalent to the projector catching up to its hologram. Thus now projecting from that new holographic space of existence, projecting the next holographic dimension to place itself within. You're the hologram catching up to its own projection. Or you're the projector catching up to its own projection or projected hologram. So we're a hologram, or hollow, but this hollowness takes upon something which can be measured upon a scale called weight, which they call grams. A hologram, or grams which are actually hollow. You're a hologram, and you project a reality using your imagination. You project something, a whole scenery, a whole situation which you are in. And then now you're the hologram projecting that projection, and the hologram is now trying to catch up to that projection. Once it finds itself in that projection that it projected previously, it now projects something further. And then you find yourself in that projection. So you're the hologram catching up to its own projection, which it projected out. Get what I'm saying? So once you find yourself in that situation that you once imagined to be in, from that point forward, you now create more. Since you now know, holy shit, this imagination shit is real. I really found myself in what I imagined. How could this be? This is strange. This is crazy. No, it's not. It's actually very normal. Okay, so once you find yourself in that projection which you previously projected at one point, you're in that space of that projection, but you're still a hologram. So now you project from that projection forward and you become that hologram, and then you project from that section forward, and so on and so on and so on and so on. See? So once again, you're the hologram catching up to its own projection. This video I'm doing right now, this was once a thought in my mind, or a thinking pattern in my mind at one time. I say, yeah, I went from doing a verbal podcast, which is on Spotify. It's on Spotify.com. It's entitled Beyond Words and Expression. Beyond Words and Expression. I did this in for a whole year. It was successful, and it touched many places around this reality: United Kingdom, Ireland, Africa, Australia, Mexico, Italy, so on and so on and so on. It touched many different places, and but that was even once projected before as well. And I did that in 2020, all last year. It was a success. It's on Spotify.com. Once again, it's called Beyond Words and Expression. And I imagined doing that a year prior to that happening. And once I was in the verbal stage of having a verbal podcast, which was on Spotify and iTunes and other places, I said, in that moment, I said, I'm going to do visual next time. I'm going to do a visual cast or a video cast. So right now, where I'm talking at and where y'all looking and listening, this was not a physical thing at one time. This was just imagined. I just used my imagination. I said, you know what? I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. And that there became here, which I'm now talking to you. You see, this wasn't physical. This was just an imagination. I was the hologram as the verbal podcast person that projected an idea using my imagination to have a visual cast, video cast, and now I'm here. You know? And when you're utilizing these devices, make sure that you're actually being genuine and honest and true to your heart, true to your intent. Because your imagination and your mind and what you imagine or what you create within the realm of your imagination, it's directly connected to the feeling body and sensory system, which is why it wants to touch things after a certain time. It wants to touch what's being imagined for after a while. Because the mind is there and it's imagining, creating all these things in the section of its part called the imagination, or the section of the mind called the imagination. But the body is saying, well, you can imagine that shit all day, but I'm saying, what the fuck? I'm here. I want to touch something. Imagine all day, but I want to touch something. So eventually, living being, whatever you're imagining in your mind, I'm going to eventually create it to a fact where I can touch it. Because here we touch things. So it's directly connected to the sensory system: touch, taste, smell, see. Not just envision or visualize. It wants to actually see it. It's a difference. Visualize and vision and seeing and looking and watching and witnessing is different principles. But seeing something means it's in front of you. It's physical. Envisioning or visualizing means it can be imagination or mind. Watching is also imagination and mind. Looking and seeing is kind of more of a physical thing. It has to be physicalized. It has to go from that one-dimensional plane of existence to third dimension or third density. Okay? So it's connected. Your imagination, your mind, your will, need, want, intent, desire, and focus is connected to the feeling body and the sensory system. It has to feel it. It wants to feel it. Like I told you before, what feeling is real. What you feel is what is real. It's validating itself in the feeling body, in the nervous system. It senses it. It wants to use its five senses. It wants to touch it. It wants to smell it. It wants to taste it. It wants to look at it. It wants to see it. And with the proper principles in place, need, want, desire, focus, and intent and detail, that which is visualized and imagined will soon be seen and touched. Am I as I am, as you are. See you guys next time. And until then, I'll keep you in vision. 1, 0.